everyone, this is Isabel and I'm the owner at Bauja Designs, and today I'm doing a little demonstration just to help someone out with a little error that was made in creating a garment. Now, the person wanted a slit, but there was no seam allowance in the garment that was made. So a cut was made in it and to create the slit, but after it was hemmed, it was then realized that it was not working. The slit was a little bit too wide, it was rounded, it just did not look the best. Alright, so what I'm demonstrating is how you can still salvage that garment rather than just, tossing it aside and starting over. So I have here, I already started this because quite honestly I've been trying to make this video. This is like the third time and I keep failing, but so I just left the steps as is, so I'll explain what I did and just take it from there. Alright, so the simulated garment without any seams, so I slit the line that I wanted the slit to fall at, the height, the measurement, and then I created a strip of fabric the length of the slit. Alright, the length of the slit that was 2 inches wide, and then I found the center of that strip, that rectangular strip. I found the center of it. I marked it the same length as the slit on the skirt, but I cut it at least 1.5 inches longer than the actual slit because you want the seam allowance to be there so you have something to attach to the skirt. So then what I did, I took right sides together. So I put my R in there, it's somewhere in there. I must have steamed it out. Right sides together. So I put the strip right sides facing right sides, and I lined it up with the slit. Now it looks a little bit rolled back because I had already done the steps and pressed it to show you the final results, and then my camera cut off, so I'm starting over, but this time I just have to explain what I did. So I stitched as neatly as possible, at least 1/8 of an inch. You can do 1/4 of an inch. Well, I would try to do 1/8 of an inch because if you do anything much wider than that, your slit is going to remain a little bit open. If you're fine with it, if it's a stretch like this, well, it would probably go. It will probably, be okay. But try to get it as close as possible to the edge. Alright, and I use a very short width stitch. Alright, because I'm going close to the edge. I need my stitch to be secure, to secure my facing. And then what I did, I went up to a point, so it's slightly curved up at the top to meet to the point at the middle of where the slit is, slightly above where the cut line is. And then what I did, I took my little scissors and I just snipped to the corner, right up to where the stitch is. Do not snip the stitch. You will lose your seam and it's just gonna start getting messy. So be very, very careful. Within 1/16 of an inch, you get that close, but not onto the stitch. Alright, so what I did, I went on, and after I did all of that stitching, I flipped it over, so now the facing is on the wrong side of the garment, and I pressed it. Gave it a nice little steam, and I pressed it. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to pin it just so that you can see what it would look like. Alright, what it would look like finished. Because it's such a tiny little area, I would not put an on this stitch like you would for regular facing to keep it put. What I will do is top stitch this. I'm trying to salvage this. I'm not trying to give myself a huge headache, and I suggest you do the same. So I just pinned it back just to secure it. Alright, so this is what your slit would look like. See, just a tiny, tiny space, but it's workable. Alright, so it's workable. It's doable. And if it's a full skirt, even better. So you can just go ahead and gather it, and you still have your slit. There it's faced. But before you do that, you go on and top stitch your facing, and then of course you finish your edges. You can probably trim away any excess that you don't need, you know, leaving about maybe another 1/4 inch beyond the top stitching, but do so carefully, all right, because you don't want to cut your garment or anything. I mean, you could very well leave it this width, it's fine. It would create, you know, some body to your slit so it doesn't roll and get all funky on you. So that is how you do it. All right, so that's what it would look like. Like I said, you're going to see a tiny bit of a space. This space actually is perhaps like 1/4 inch wide. I mean, that beats having to redo the entire garment, you know. If it's for, you know, if it's done neatly, it can work. All right, and so that's pretty much it for this little demonstration. I hope this helps, and I hope you understand, you know, the steps taken. Just remember, it's very, very important to press, give it a good iron, so that way the facing stays put. And don't forget to top stitch. I did not top stitch mine because, you know, I mean, I'm just demonstrating. All right, so top stitch it as close as you can, not too close to the edge, but as close as you can. Make it nice and neat, and you're done. I hope this helps. Once again, and thanks for viewing. I will talk with you guys soon. Bye.